learn at Busan Port. I'd like to move on to the next port, which is Hamburg Port in Germany. And this port has very special relationship with Busan Port. I'd like to turn to Mr. Jens Meyer, the CEO of Hamburg Port Authority. And his presentation is on case studies and implications for ports related to COVID-19.
Dear Mr. President, dear colleagues from the Busan Port Authority, ladies and gentlemen, let me start by expressing my appreciation to the Busan Port Authority for the invitation to this year's BIPC and for organizing this conference in this digital manner. I'm sure that this edition will be as inspiring as ever, even if it takes place digitally. I would like to start my keynote by displaying one slide which I firstly showed in a presentation at the BIPC in 2015. At that time, we had a hot debate about the ultra-large container vessels and their ambivalent effects on ports. My opinion was that it is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. So instead of blaming and shaming the shipping lines, we should start working together as port authorities, raise our voice in the supply chain, and find solutions on how we can handle the mega vessels. Today, I emphasize that quote again because it shows very good the way we had dealt with the pandemic. We did not lose any time in cursing it, but we reacted immediately for the benefit of our customers, partners, and employees. Despite the fact that all ports and stakeholders were dealing with a huge challenge, we managed to keep the business open by securing the supply chain. In order to prepare even better for future crises, we need to continuously improve how we do things. Digitization proved to be a powerful tool and will be essential for effective crisis management in the future. Actually, Corona was a stress test for digitization and we successfully passed it. Hamburg has been well positioned for years, and as a port authority, we were all well prepared to deal with the crisis. From the very beginning, it was necessary to ensure that the critical infrastructure was kept running. In the Port of Hamburg, this includes, among others, staffing the vessel traffic service center, pilot services, operating locks and bridges, as well as controlling rail and road traffic. The Hamburg Port Authority acted quickly by applying rolling shift systems, teleworking, home office, and focusing on critical processes. We have ensured that there are no staff shortages. Here too, we could see that digitization plays a fundamental role. With regard to administration, a large part of the tasks were and are carried out from home, as well as in traffic control, where appropriate remote controls were implemented. The Hamburg Port Authority has proven that it is fully capable of acting in times of crisis, even over long periods of time, and even if people are not always on site. At the same time, the Hamburg Port Authority has also supported its customers by deferring port fees and rents. The COVID-19 crisis has revealed that the society is highly dependent upon a well-functioning global supply chain of critical medical supplies, including personal protective equipment, PPE, such as masks, gloves and overalls. All these goods are essential to protecting doctors, nurses and others on the front line of the pandemic. In Hamburg, as in all other ports, it was more important than ever to keep the terminals open and to allow maritime trade and cross-border transport to continue. When others have imposed local regulations, travel and quarantine restrictions, we were one of the first ports to facilitate and allow crew changes, while implementing the necessary health protocols. Port of Hamburg treated seafarers as key workers, and we granted them the flexibility they needed. Furthermore, we have never stopped researching for innovations. Despite the crisis, the Hamburg Port Authority has continued to invest in innovation, maintaining the projects planned within the time frame set. So we kept our path continuously improving Hamburg's position as a smart port. Besides the awareness that digitization significantly improves crisis management, the current situation has once again shown that crisis can only be managed together. The Hamburg Port Authority successfully exchanged information at an early stage via the worldwide port network Chainport. Here I want to thank all Chainport members and especially today the Port of Busan for the trustful cooperation. As we did in Hamburg also, the Chainport projects were kept running as planned. As a result of it, we have just published with other ports a Chainport playbook titled Leveraging Digital Solutions in Crisis Management. It is an online and interactive strategic guideline for senior managers to create their digital roadmap for overcoming crisis. The best practices in the playbook are practical solutions which already work in Chainport member ports and indicate the transferability to other ports and even for other types of crisis. Even though the pandemic is not yet over, one thing is certain: the next crisis will come. We just do not know what, how, and when. Therefore, to be prepared and become resilient is the best strategy we can have. Going back again to the past for a moment, when you look at the last 9 months, this is what our world may feel like today. The whole world has focused on COVID-19. However, this is what it actually looks like. Beyond Corona, we also have other things to solve. Climate change is a global phenomenon. So the answer will be, amongst others, the global application of a suite of technologies to reduce emissions. Port authorities are in a strong position to regulate the development and application of green technologies. This means that beside a massive push towards digitization and automation, the pursuit of decarbonization will be a key driver for innovation. We are talking about a new era in which sustainability is achieved not through trade limitations, but through the implementation of new technologies. However, more digitization comes not only with opportunities, but also with challenges. So in my view, and I have been addressing this topic for a long time, the next big issue that all partners in the global supply chains will have to tackle is related to digital trust. The numerous advantages of today's increasingly digitized and interconnected world come with a price. Cyber attacks have become a serious threat. Regardless of whether it is crisis or normal operations, we will need to gather our efforts and find common solutions to cybercrime and cyber attacks. And this challenge can only be mastered if we start building a digital trust culture. For the new technologies to be accepted, people have to be relieved of their fear. Trust is one of the key parameters that supports supply chain collaboration. User distrust is becoming a dangerous threat, but these supposed weaknesses can be turned into strengths through training and cooperation. Therefore, I would like to use this conference to call for raising cybersecurity awareness. Security has traditionally been seen as a cost center. In recent years, however, businesses are waking up to the idea that good security is a business enabler. When companies develop strategies for digital transformation, security concepts must be at the top of the priority list. In today's world, we all should have systems within our organizations to protect ourselves. In Chainport, we take the issue of cybersecurity cooperation seriously. A continuous exchange of information between members takes place since an early detection and reaction to cyber threats secures our businesses. 2020 seems to be a year in which the world is at its brink. Not only due to Corona, the maritime logistics chain is under stress. Ports face many problems. Ports are no longer darlings, but problem makers for many stakeholders regarding topics such as environment and infrastructure costs. So I think again, as back in 2015, that the time is ripe that we do not curse the darkness, but we light many candles. Today, lighting the candles means that we need to rethink our port's positions in the logistic chains. We need to create a positive portrait of the future. We have to write our own story and find our own solutions. Today, I would like to encourage you to rethink your business, and together we should ask the right questions and develop the right answers. We don't know exactly what a future port will look like, but we are determined to find it out. At this point, we believe that future ports will be shaped along three principles. They will be solution ports and not problem ports as they are perceived today. They will have a new social license to operate with their communities, and decarbonization will be reached by means of technology. I would like to share the provocative thesis that the success of ports should not be based only on volumes or on how much short-term profit we make. I hope that TEO growth and the size of a port will no longer be the most important parameters, as they do not promote a sustainable business model. It is my belief that other success factors must come to the front, such as the quality of jobs we create, the safety and security we guarantee, the innovative strengths that arises in a port, and the role we play for a free world and for free trade. I thank you very much for your attention. I'm deeply honored to have been part of this year's BIPC. Let's hope that next year we will all gather again in Busan.